This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
The Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
What up? Happy Wednesday. The Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center, where Montana state law says it is your vehicle, it is your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center. Here inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave, we welcome you to West China. And that's the last thing we'll say politically today. Just hope for the best for our country. Wish the best for everybody. Coming up today, we'll talk to Katie Garcin-Forba, the Capital girls coach. They're not playing this week because of COVID issues with Helena High, and the girls. So they won't play until next week, Capital girls. And we'll get her thoughts on the first 2 weeks of the season. Also, going to talk to Jordy Hansen from 406mtsports.com and get his thoughts on Cats and Grizz not playing football. Remember, they announced that last week, anyway. So there you go. You can watch live on Facebook, Twitter, Podbean. You can listen live on Treasure State Radio, Network One Sports, and Podbean. What did I say? YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you can watch. Listen on Podbean there. Okay. It's going to be a great day. It really is. And tomorrow, going to be fun too. Friday, Kent Paulson, commissioner of the Frontier Conference, will join us. And we will get his thoughts on if the Frontier is going to have a football season or not. But we begin today talking about more COVID-related issues, and that includes Anaconda, where their boys basketball team has been shelved for another 5 days. They've been in quarantine. They are in quarantine until the 25th of January, barring any other setbacks. They'll be able to host our Lee the next game on the 28th, which is a week from tomorrow. That is the boys. The girls for the Anaconda Class A school are playing at Class A Dillon tomorrow. They're continuing as scheduled, which is good. We're going to see this all the rest of the year. Up and down schedules, changing, moving around. It's just, that's the way it's going to be. And you hope. Remember, we talked to Lindsay Cruz, the barrel racing champ, on Monday, and she said they're hearing to be told to expect a repeat of last year on the rodeo side. So let's hope we don't have that in the fall, starting with high school sports again. But the Anaconda boys in quarantine until next week. So there's that. Let's see, what else did we want to hit on today? Welcome everybody watching on the Twitter today. Oh, good stuff. Appreciate you here on the show. Let's see, what else were we going to chat about this opening segment? Oh, wrestling. How about this? And we're going to talk to some wrestlers coming up in the next week and moving forward as the wrestling season in high gear. And I'm glad they're able to do it. I'm glad they're able to get a season in. We were worried, but they're getting it done, and that's fantastic. Let's see here. I did see this, and this is really cool. So girls wrestling is new this year for MHSA. Now, Shepherd is going to have a mixer coming up tomorrow afternoon at 4. There'll be about 35 girls wrestling from Shepherd, the Billings Schools, Senior Skyview West, also Miles City, Baker, Circle, Colstrip, and Lockwood. This is awesome. And Shepherd wrestling coach Brian Reichenbach said that he told 406mtsports.com, to his knowledge, this is the first time where it's been just girls. And there will be a girls-only state tournament this year to be announced at a later date, which is awesome. And girls are competing against other girls in the regular season and boys as well. But this is the first year MHSA sanctions girls wrestling, and it's awesome. I am so happy that this is happening in the state of Montana. A, I like wrestling. B, when my son wrestled in little guy wrestling, there was a girl on his team who kicked the crap out of boys. Like boys would refuse to wrestle her because she was so good. I wonder if she would have wrestled in high school had it been a sanctioned sport back then. And this was, just a few years ago. But she was great at volleyball too. But it is cool to see this. And really wish I could be down there tomorrow night to watch that down in Shepherd. That'd be pretty cool. It will be streamed on NFHS Network, so you can check that out. Shepherd has 3 girls on its team this year. Leanne Hoke at 103 went to state last year, won her first match by pin, and then fell just a round short of placing. So we're seeing it. It's just, I am so happy for this. This is awesome. And good luck to those girls tomorrow. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to watch. And we'll have to check it out on NFHS for sure. That'll be a good time. Man. All right, there was some high school basketball last night. Let's see, Kaikoba 23 to lead Skyview in a win over Senior. Let's see here, 26 points for Royce Robinson over for Lewistown as they won at third-ranked Billings Central. That's a big win. Jace Hill 18, 16 for Aylin Anderson. Columbia Falls scored the final 12 to beat Ronan by 10. How about that? Brandon Finley with 19, 16 for Carson Shepherd, 5th-ranked Frenchtown, rolled Stevensville. And Caleb Ball with 28, St. Regis over Mullen, Idaho, 61-22. Seth Amonroot at 29 and 7 3-pointers. That's an early leader for next week's Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. 7 threes on 10 attempts. 29 points. Christian got a big win over Lone Peak. 23 for Brady Bounce. Walker Doman, 15. Winnett Grass Range hammered Class B Roundup by 16. Let's see here as we move down. Caden Clott, Colden Hubbardsland, 17 each for Luster Christian in a win over Culbertson. Let's move down to the girls' side. Kate Erickson had 20 for Broadview Lavina in a win. On the girls' side, let's see here. 19 for Ainsley Shipman to lead Dillon over Three Forks. And Emma Tim had 17 for Laurel in a win over Livingston. Hannah Schweikert, 21, 4th-ranked Columbia Falls, 20-point win over Ronan. Good stuff. Sydney Brander, 22, St. Ignatius over Big Fork. Bailey Finn, 19. Big Timber, number 1 in Class B with a big win. Roundup beat Winnett Grass Range girls 41-5. was 33-0 at the half. Man. Let's see here. 18 for Aspen Sanderson. Shields Valley over West Yellowstone. That's a tough one for my West Yellowstone Wolverines. Carly Lane at 18 for Harlow. Rygate in a win. So 20 for McKenna Hug for Culbertson. 20 for Lindsay Lawrence for Jordan. They were up 35-1 at the half over Plevna. Wow. 24 for Elizabeth Field. Westby Granora with a big win. So there you go. Last night's good stuff. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Speaking of basketball. Oh, before we do, though, I do want to bring this up. Jess Lockwood, we mentioned it Monday. He broke his jaw. And is going to have surgery now. He's going to have surgery Friday for a broken jaw, according to the PBR. The two-time PBR world champ got hurt 2.75 seconds into his season on a really good bowl called Detroit Lean. Hit his horn with his face, and that'll leave a mark. X-rays Monday confirmed a broken jaw, so he's having surgery Friday. But he'll miss the next couple of weeks, and then looks like he'll be back in February. So he's going to take about a month off with a broken jaw. Crazy. Best of luck to him. Is that it for the opener? I think it is. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. When we do, we're going to talk basketball. And we're going to talk it on the AA front with Capital girls coach Katie Garcin-Forba. She'll join us next. Jason Walker Show coming right back. We're brought to you by Capital Collision Center. And Montana state law says it is your vehicle, it is your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center. Now, you're going to take your vehicle there, and when they fix it, they do it with a manufacturer repair manual, like a playbook. And it tells you step by step by step, from the littlest, tiniest screw or whatever it is. They'll fix it to manufacturer's repair playbook at Capital Collision Center. And they'll tell you exactly how it's taking, what is going on, where your vehicle is, and the process. It's awesome. Customer service, unparalleled. Capital Collision Center in Euclid in Helena. Coming right back. Katie Garcin-Forba, Capital Girls Coach, next.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show on a Wednesday. Still to come, Jordy Hansen, friend of the show from the Missoulian, will join us. We'll talk Cat Grizz football and basketball on this day in history, coming up, and a whole lot more. Friday, we're going to talk to Frontier Conference Commissioner Kent Paulson. Also, actor Alex Panovich will join us. You know him from such great shows. Snowpiercer, Van Helsing, War for Planet of the Apes. I'm going to talk to him on Friday, Alex Panovich. And maybe next week. Oh, next week's going to be awesome. If this, I think it's going to happen, but it's going to be awesome. Good stuff. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. All right, so it was supposed to be Crosstown Week, but Helena High girls came down with some COVID issues. So, thanks to contact tracing, that was rescheduled to, I believe, February the 8th. And it means that there's no girls basketball in the Queen City on the varsity front, both on the road or at home this week. And that includes the Capital girls, who are 3-1, the defending co-state champs, off to that pretty good start. Joining us now to talk about that and much more, including her thoughts on the Blue Bloods of men's basketball. Here's Katie Garcin-Forba, Capital girls coach, joining us now on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Well, first off, Coach, happy holidays and happy New Year. How was the holiday season for you?
It was really good. Happy holidays and happy New Year to you. Hopefully you guys had had some good family time together. We kept it fairly close, and my husband and I just stayed home and kind of celebrated together, which was actually really pleasant and relaxing considering we don't have kids or anything. So it was pretty low key, but it was good. It was nice to have a few days off from basketball, but it's definitely nice to be back in the swing of things for sure.
No game this week, which we'll talk about in a second, but 3-1 through the first 2 weeks. You pleased?
Yeah, we are improving where we need to improve, and it's really strange to not have a preseason. The things that we would be working through and figuring out normally happen, almost 6 weeks ago. So that feels very weird. Definitely, you don't love to go to Hellgate and lose by 2 again. That one felt a little bit Groundhog Day-like, but there's a lot we can take away from that, and there's a lot of stuff that we've worked to improve on based on what they did. So I do think that there's a lot of pluses that we can grow from for that. So we're seeing continued progress, and the girls are working hard, and they're enjoying being together.
How has practice gone? Because I know there's been girls in, girls out. Mostly, you guys have been pretty healthy, though, right?
Yeah, we've been really lucky. We haven't had any at our level. Our freshman, sophomore teams have been a lot more impacted by kids getting quarantined and some, COVID cases, things like that. But for the most part, we've had, we've had the majority of our kids, and that's made a big difference for us to be able to build continuity and to fill some of the spots that we graduated last year. So I can't complain too much about that. It's actually, we have to shape our practices a little bit, but other than that, we've been really lucky as far as our kids being able to be there.
Have you been able to learn how to coach with a mask?
It's a loaded question. There are times where it's a blessing that I have a mask on. There are times where I want to rip the mask off. It's the hardest thing really is making sure the kids can hear us. They've struggled at times, and so I've been messing with different types of masks to see if one is better than the other, where they can actually hear me when they're playing and in timeouts and stuff like that.
Katie Garcin-Forba, our guest here, Jason Walker Show, the Capital girls coach. All right, so no game this week because of crosstown issues on the other side with the COVID. But is it tough to have a bye week? Is this a good week for a bye week for you guys?
I think it's for us. We're trying to keep things kind of, I don't want to say rejuvenate things, but kind of, add some new stuff in there. And so giving us an opportunity to do that, especially now that we've seen how teams are going to look to play us a little bit this year. So I do think that it is a good thing. The challenge for us is keeping our kids engaged and keeping them working hard. So that's really kind of been our focus, our JV team. I think the weirdest part is our JV team they played last night at Sentinel. They play again on Saturday. So we're mixing in some of the stuff that they need to work on and then some of the stuff that our varsity needs to work on. So it's trying to create a practice plan that's cohesive to both of those. That's been the big challenge. The girls, I think, were dreading having a week off because they were a little worried what our conditioning might look like. And I laughed because we don't do a lot about a drill conditioning and a lot of stuff with a ball in hand, but they're like, oh my gosh, they were panicking a little bit. So I don't know. It's really just kind of keeping things a little bit new so that they're staying engaged during this, 7 practices that we have before our next game.
It's almost like you could use the first 2 weeks as the non-conference, even though they were conference games. You get that week, almost like the holidays, and then you come back and you start conference play for reals next week. Maybe that's the approach you take. And maybe I'm just smoking something. I don't know.
No, I think that's absolutely true. And Hellgate mixed things up on us a little bit, and it disrupted us offensively. We were still able to score 51 points, but we weren't in a rhythm that we wanted to be in. So this has given us an opportunity to really focus on us. So I think that's dead on, and that's really the approach that we've kind of taken with the varsity group of, okay, now we regroup. We know what teams are going to look to do. Here's how we counter that. So I don't think it's a bad thing that we have the time and the opportunity. It's figuring out how to make the most of that and utilize it the best way that we can.
Katie Garcin-Forba, our guest here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. All right, so who do you play then finally next week?
Flathead on Thursday. We get to go to Kalispell on Thursday, come back Thursday night, and then we play Glacier on Saturday at home.
Oh, so that's good. You don't have to turn around and go right back up because you can't do overnights.
Yeah. No, we can't do overnight, so that was the way that they tried to do that. And what's nice is when we get to the second half of our schedule, we will host at home on Thursday and then travel to Kalispell on Saturday.
That'll
it works
nice.
out. It will be. So I think they did the best that they could considering the circumstances, and really tried to make it as least of an impact as possible. Just for the kids trying to get back for school and stuff like that.
Are you glad there's no overnights?
Yes and no. It's kind of fun for the kids. I think that it's a good team building opportunity in a lot of ways. Usually we use those trips to prepare for state tournament, divisional tournament type stuff. Yeah. Since that will look different this year, it's not as big of a deal, but it definitely feels weird to not be thinking ahead of, okay, rooming lists and how we're doing this, what we're doing for food afterwards, things like that. I mean, there's just the logistics change a lot, when you're traveling overnight versus coming home that next day or that same day.
So when you that Thursday night next week's that's a late night for those girls, and for you.
Late night for their coaches. yeah. They're probably used to it. They're staying up late anyways. As coaches are dreading it a little bit. It's because we'll still have a normal 7:30 tip off, and game gets done at 9 o'clock, and then we hit the road and come home. And some of them will have school on Friday. Some of them will be remote learning. So. The key is going to be the turnaround from Friday to our Saturday game for sure.
And we'll talk about that next week, but it's interesting to look ahead because playoffs will be different. State tournament's going to be different. We don't even know how state's going to be yet. Have you guys been hearing anything?
We haven't heard anything specific or anything that is, it's been decided. We received an email a couple weeks ago that they're exploring a couple of different options. I know that the Billings paper reported that this was the format that they were going to do a couple weeks ago, and that, as far as I know, that hasn't been finalized, and RAD has, not sent us anything final. So I think that they're still waiting. I think they're waiting to see how things progress with COVID and with the vaccine and how that moves forward before they make a decision. Because obviously our large venues aren't booked out right now because they can't host events. So as things change, it'll be easier to try and coordinate some of that stuff. So. Yeah, we've kind of kept it up in the air, and we're really just taking it week by week with the kids and telling them, we'll just wait and see when that time comes how they're going about doing it.
Last week, Lewis and Clark County announced that more fans were going to be allowed in the stands. Does that help the girls out?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. One, it's their, they get to have their families there. It feels really strange coaching. I'll be honest. I mean, we're girls basketball. We don't draw huge crowds. It's not like it's this electric atmosphere every Saturday that we have a game. But it makes a huge difference for them to hear. I think, one, to have their parents in the stands, just watching them, knowing that they're there is kind of a level of comfort thing. But then just to have that crowd noise, I think, is really important. We've been lucky because we've been able to have our cheerleaders there, so that's helped create some noise for us. But our team really, they feed off of the crowd energy. They feed off of each other's energy. So that's been a major adjustment to not even to have our sub-varsity teams there either, because they haven't traveled with us to Missoula. That has felt weird to them. So I think it'll be really nice to have fans again and just to have a little bit more of that atmosphere.
I think you said that cheerleaders were making noise. That never happens, right?
No, never.
Okay, when you played, did you like cheerleaders?
I don't think that I dislike. I don't know that I really paid attention, and I know that sounds horrible, but when I was playing, I don't know that I noticed it one way or another. But I think that if I was playing in where there's like limited fans, I probably would notice more. I noticed it as a coach, so. But yeah, I don't know that I really paid attention one way or another, which I know sounds really horrible on my part.
You were the star player, though. I mean, you were kind of like that. That you had that ego a little bit. You're like, I'm the best. They're cheering for me no matter what.
I was a really good role player. Like, I was really good. I was never the star of my team. I was a good player, but I was.
You went to college.
I did. But even in college, like, I was a really good role player, and I did my job really well. And I don't know that I would ever consider myself a star player, but every team's got to have a really good role player, a really good, second player on their team. And that's more of where I would put myself. I played with some really talented kids. So, but yeah, no, I don't think they were there cheering for me necessarily.
Of course they were. Hey, has Coach Pilgrim, have they started playing yet?
They have not. I need to reach out to him again. I talked to him last week a little bit. He's been tuning in and watching our stuff, which is cool. But I don't know if they're even allowed back into their gym yet, because they went like a 6-week hiatus, and they're looking to bump their schedule back. It's just been, and it's frustrating. And we were texting back and forth, and he expressed his frustration of, the Oregon State and University of Oregon and Portland State, they're all playing, and some of the Montana schools were going and playing them over there. And he's like, we're 20 minutes away from these schools, and we can't even get into our gym to do a push-up. And so, but he's handled it in really, as good-natured as it can be with the frustrations that exist with not being able to have your team together. And there's a lot of impacts, I think, that colleges are going to face just with recruiting classes and how they bring kids in when they're not graduating kids, and kids can come back for another year. I think it's going to get really complicated.
I completely agree. And at all levels of college and high school, it's going to be really interesting the next 5 years, really. With Coach Pilgrim, we both know him pretty well. You know him obviously much better than I do. This has to be weird. I mean, it's put yourself in a position where you're a basketball lifer. You're not even. Right. You're not. This is your off year.
Right. Well, when I talked to him, I actually talked to him for quite a while when he was driving to Montana just to go visit his family, because he didn't have anything going on, and it was in between. It was right before Christmas, I believe, and I asked him. I said, "What are you doing with your time?" And he kind of laughed, and this would be an ideal time for him to be out recruiting, but he's got his next 2 classes kind of filled, so you can't go out and recruit kids to backfill your 21, 22 classes. And so that's been really strange. He went and did a little bit of recruiting in Idaho because they're having tournaments, but other states, I mean, Oregon and Washington, they're not having sports right now, so it's not like that's an option. I think he's doing everything he can to kind of fill his time, just, doing a lot of learning and watching other teams play and watching a lot of games and stuff. But I think it's been really hard, and just trying to stay busy when there's nothing you can do. And I can call him this because I've called it to him face. He's a self-proclaimed control freak a little bit, and so
no way.
This has had to kind of. I think all of us are, and it's like, okay, there's only certain things I can control, and so there's some lessons I think that everybody's taken away from that. But no, it's definitely been tough, I think, and I got to give him a lot of credit because every time I talk to him, he's really optimistic and has been pretty upbeat about it because there is nothing he can do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, teams around him are playing, so that's really tough.
Hey, a couple final things for you. One, this is the first time since like 1967 that North Carolina, Kentucky, and Duke are not ranked in the top 25 together. And so I can give you a hard time about Duke because my Kentucky boys aren't doing well either. And I'm sure you love that.
I do, and I guess somebody put it on Twitter that it was like misery loves company, and I had to laugh that it was those three teams that were all.
How amazing is that?
It's very 2020, 2021. Right. It just kind of fits, and it I don't know. I think the teams that are excelling are the ones that don't have as many of the one and dones, and they were able to bring kids back, some veteran players. I think that you're seeing a little bit of that especially with Duke. They replaced quite a few kids, and you are trying to get high school kids to play at that college level with no summer workout stuff and minimal preseason. And so when I first saw that, I just thought that is very, very, I don't know, it just fits for the times that we're living in right now.
For sure. And then finally, I've never asked you this, and I don't know why. I'm showing the wide angle shot. I don't have any Capital gear in my man cave.
Well, I will have to take care of that. Okay. Yeah, I'll see what I can get you. I need to know what you want though. What do you want for your man cave?
Literally anything.
Okay.
Like, a jersey, a shirt, or something. I can't believe I've never even asked Almquist.
I know. That is kind of shocking.
I golf with him.
So you really have no excuse there.
Exactly.
I don't feel bad about not having given you anything yet. If Guy hasn't yet,
no.
you guys golf together. So
that's true.
But no, I will. Yeah, we'll take care of that on our end.
Okay.
Consider it done. You'll get some Capital swag.
I'm not going to wear it. I'm just going to put it up in the man cave because I'm a Bozeman Hawk.
Perfect.
So the wife though is a Capital girl, so she'll appreciate it. Yeah.
Perfect. Did she play sports?
She played basketball. She got cut her senior year for some.
What was her number?
23.
Okay. That's a great number.
She likes Jordan, so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll find something that is an ode to her number, and then
she would have
you are always reminded of your wife.
She played 01 to 03, I guess, because she graduated in 04.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Coach.
Consider it done.
You're the best.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you having me on the show.
We'll reach out. We'll talk to you next week, and enjoy the time off. But keep working those girls hard. Make them run extra tonight, since they're worried about their own conditioning.
I will. I'll let them know that. The problem is we always tell them the weekend, if the game before, if we hold a team, our goal is 34 points or under defensively. First thing they said to me on Saturday was, Coach, they had 23 points. We're out of conditioning next week, right? I said, no, that only works on Monday. Wednesday's fair game. So
there you go. Perfect. Tell them I said that they had to run, and
I will.
But it's all for love. That's why.
Perfect. I'll let them know.
Thanks, Coach. We'll talk to you next week.
All right.
That is Katie Garcin-Forba, the head coach of the Capital Girls, the defending co-AA state champs. She's so much fun. I've gotten to chat and to talk with her now for a few years, and she's just fantastic. I miss our in-person interviews, though, because that's when you find out. And I've mentioned this on the show before, and with coaches and even players, but especially coaches, like those off-air interviews. The ones that you're not recording, those, well, not really interviews, but those conversations, that's when the fun stuff comes out. That's when the good stuff comes out. It's always fun. But appreciate Coach Garcin-Forba joining us
here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Quick break. We'll come back. We have On This Day in History coming up, the walk-off, and Jordy Hansen's going to join us. And we're going to talk Cat Grizz football, or lack thereof. We're also having wax poetic about some basketball. That is next. Jason Walker Show. And don't forget to stop by Auto Concepts, by the way. Auto Concepts in Helena is awesome. You just want, I mean, they do our performance of the week, but you speak about performance. Auto Concept will get you the performance you deserve. And you need to stop in and get started. Like get in scheduled for remote starters because it is going to get chilly. And you're going to want that remote starter. They also do complete details. A couple $100, get your entire vehicle inside and out completely cleaned. Auto Concepts, the performance enhancement specialist in Helena. Coming right back with Jordan Hansen from the Missoulian next.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back. Final segment on a Wednesday. Jason Walker Show presented by Capital Collision Center. Major Mortgage Man Cave. On This Day in History coming up and much more. So we haven't gotten a chance to, also known as a chance. I don't know if we've talked in 2021 yet. Have we talked yet in 2021?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Because no, we haven't. Because we were gonna talk the week of the 4th. And then I was sick, and you were working, and then last week some came up. So let me give you the full introduction. Happy New Year to the newest National Sports Media Association Montana Sports Writer of the Year, Jordan Hansen. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that.
Hey, congratulations. That's a great award, by the way, and I've won the sports caster side a couple of times, but I'm very happy for you, my friend.
No, and I certainly appreciate you nominating me for that. It meant a lot, and I'm truly appreciative of it, and it was cool, and it's cool that Riley ended up with it too, and it just goes to show there's just a lot of good folks and a lot of really cool places around here in Montana. So.
Well, I mean, the only other thing cooler other than Riley winning it would have been you and I winning it together. And I think next year we should make that happen.
There you go.
Because I'd really like to prove that a guy can go out on his own and not have to deal with radio station and win this thing.
I'm saying, man.
Anyway, big news last week, Jordy, with the Cats and the Grizz. And like we were just talking about off the air, it was the news that everybody knew was coming, but still seemed to catch some people by surprise. But with Montana State announcing together, which was cool, that they will not be playing football in the Big Sky this spring.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'll be honest. It did catch me a little off surprise. I mean, I guess now that I've been catching up a little bit more on it, talked to Frank, talked to Ken a little bit. Obviously this had been something that was coming for a while. And at the end of the day, it sounds like a lot of it was just health and safety for the players. I mean, that's a quick turnaround to go in the fall. I think the finances come into it a little bit too. I mean, I think at the beginning of the fall, late summer when they're making these decisions, I think that, it was kind of a long shot, idea that, there'd be, more vaccinations that have been done and, we still wouldn't be dealing with, some of the same stuff that we are now. But, obviously that didn't happen. And, we're in a much different, situation than maybe I think a lot of people thought that we were going to be. So, it just kind of came down to a decision that they kind of had to make. Montana and Montana State have been pretty close to be step in step, as we've kind of gone through COVID and stuff like that. And it's been kind of cool to see those universities work together and kind of work off of each other a little bit. So, but hey, we might get a Montana Tech Montana game, which is something that I would love to see.
I don't know if that's going to happen, only because I was told last week on Friday morning that Kyle Sampson was like, yeah, that's not good. I don't want that. He's worried about injuries for his guys. And I don't know, honestly, Jordan, if there's going to be a Frontier season.
Yeah, and I think that's a whole other topic of discussion. I mean, now I'm not quite as in the know on Frontier football as I might have been a year ago, but I do think that there's definitely some questions to be had there. The only thing I would say about that though is that NAIA schools obviously have a lot shorter seasons than what the Grizz or the Cats would. There's less wear and tear on those bodies, and feels like those schools play a lot more players. So I do think that could be a possibility. They have said that they would like to play a non D1 and maybe a D1. It doesn't sound, I don't know. I personally, I think it'd be kind of cool if they had a pay-per-view Cat Grizz. I think that would be a windfall for both the universities financially. And I mean, you already have all these guys going through COVID protocols and stuff. If you're going to play two games, it kind of makes sense on that end. But at the other end of the stick, I mean, you don't obviously want to, I don't know. It would definitely be very strange, and it will be strange. However, it ends up playing out.
And I don't think we'll get the Cat Grizz. I'm just not a fan of that idea of when there's nothing on the line. I don't know if you can get the guys. I mean, they'll get ramped up because it's football and it's Cat Grizz, but it doesn't have the same as if it, in November, late November, whether it's in Washington Grizzly Stadium or Bobcat Stadium. And I'm glad there's not going to be a spring Cat Grizz, honestly, because like I said, trying to get fired up for that thing for one game and then you play Western or Tech the next week. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's a really good point. And actually, bringing Western up, I think that might be more of a something that could be a little bit more feasible than what maybe Tech was, because I hadn't heard that from Samson, but that makes sense. But Western's gone out and played. I think it was Weber State 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Yep.
And so they're not necessarily afraid of that. And I think there's been a couple other Frontier teams that have played recently too.
The Carroll went to Portland State in I think 2013, right. And Rocky played at Northern Colorado a couple of years ago too.
Well, someone was joking with me the other day that this would have been the year for Carroll, like those national championship Carroll teams to play the Grizz when they were saying that they were good enough to beat the Grizz. So I'm saying this.
That's funny. All right, so are we gonna get 2 games? I mean, does it? Because it doesn't really matter. They left the possibility open, but again, financially, I just don't know how this happens because you're still not going to have fans in the stands in the spring. And I think that had a big reason, honestly, Jordan, of why Montana State decided not to play.
Yeah, no, and I did too. And I think that, if you're just going to start just thinking, about how much some of those game ops cost and stuff, you're really not even, again, I mean, your only option for that is again, pay-per-view. And I don't know if that's going to be something that they're truly, into. And I mean, that's kind of been a stickler point this entire time as far as, the contracts that, the Big Sky has with, the various providers, whether that be Pluto TV for basketball or, Root and SWX and et cetera, for football and stuff. Those contracts just really aren't paying out all that much. And I don't think that they would pay very much to, put together a game against, Tech or Western or Carroll or, God forbid, Northern.
Come on, they're getting better.
They are getting better, and they have a really nice field now. I will say that that's probably the best field in the Frontier. I mean, I'm partial to Bob Green, but that's for almost at this point mostly sentimental reasons. But though, to be fair, I do love where Montana Tech has it.
You're funny. This is why you're Sports Writer of the Year, my man.
Yeah,
it's great insights like that. Okay, so Coach Choate was pretty adamant all fall. He's like, I'm not planning on a spring. We're not having a spring. It makes no sense. Bobby Houck seemed to want to play a little bit, but maybe he was just trying to be politically correct. Both coaches obviously had a lot to do with this. They stay in touch, which is surprising, but they seem to be on par with everything, not only that Seth Bodner and Waded Cruzado said, but to me it stemmed from the coaches, not the president's council.
Well, I mean, Jeff was more worried about that Boise State interview. I'm sure he saw that on the horizon. No, yeah. I'm just kidding. But
are you surprised he stayed for one? Real quick.
No, well, I'm kind of surprised he didn't get the job. Honestly, that kind of felt like a home run for them. I mean, he's a good coach.
Yeah,
like he's a really good coach. I'll definitely talk up Choate anytime you want to. I think he's got it figured out. But yeah, no, I mean, I do think a lot of it did come from, the coaches and stuff. And I think that's where more the injury aspect comes from, honestly, is that, they're more worried about competing for, a national title. Because, I mean, both those teams are, next year should be, national title contenders. I mean, it's hard to say contenders, but, like they'll be there. I mean, if they ended up in the semifinals, it wouldn't surprise anybody, either one of those teams. So, like, it's not like a smaller, not necessarily a smaller school, but a school that doesn't have championship aspirations. They do, and they have several years of championship aspirations. So I think that kind of came into part of it too, and that's where I think the injury step comes in, and where those conversations with the coach has, because I mean obviously they're involved in the financial side of things as well, but I do think that that the injury thing is something that hasn't been pushed up as much, that I think actually was kind of a bigger, part of that.
Yeah. It's okay. Portland State pulling out, or if they had played, I mean, they're a team, and we all love Coach Bruce Barnum, but there's no way that Portland State was competing. Final on the football side, but is the Big Sky going to be able to pull off a complete season or 6-game schedule now without two of your, I mean, you got basically 2 top 5, top 10 teams not playing now.
I don't think they will. It sounds like Idaho's gung ho on playing football. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Weber State, Utah in general. The Montana State, those are like the backbone of the Big Sky, and it's just kind of, and especially with Southern Utah leaving, for the WAC, and a lot of different moving pieces this spring that have already kind of happened. I mean, I think if a Weber or whoever else, decides to pull out, that'll be it. But I don't know. It kind of seems like it seems like the conference itself just really hasn't come together for a, good plan. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there's been as much leadership there, and it kind of just like let these schools kind of do what they want as opposed to presenting a unified front, because it kind of looks bad for the Big Sky if you have like, a team, pull out early. Okay, that makes sense. That was their own prerogative. But then you have like 3 more pull out in the spring, and I mean, granted, I think Montana State did it, the best way that they could. But I mean, it just doesn't make the Big Sky look very good. That it was Montana State making that announcement like that as opposed to the conference. So, and I know the conference did put out a release, but still.
Yeah, Jordan Hansen joining us, 406mtsports.com, Azulian.com. He is a fantastic, he's the Montana Sports Writer of the Year, National Sports Media Association. Let's switch gears to basketball. The Grizz struggled out of the gate. They've won a couple since. In fact, I called their first conference win, a brutal game against Northern Colorado. 2 teams that did not look like they wanted to play on a Monday morning a couple weeks ago. They've won a couple since then, though. It seems to be they're finding some unity and some gel.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that the second loss against Northern Arizona was not good, to say the least. I do think that there's a few problems with this team, but I mean, defensively, they've been good. They're struggling with some of their turnovers and stuff like that, but I mean, that's still just a team that's trying to figure itself out a little bit. They've started, kind of pulling away from having, I think at the beginning of the season, that they were just going to go post all the time, and they, started to pull it out a little bit. But the biggest thing with the Grizz is that they just haven't scored points. I mean, they just haven't. And their field goal percentage and stuff is fine. In fact, it's pretty good actually. It's in the top half and actually the top quarter of the NCAA as far as field goal percentage and 3-point percentage. But they're only scoring 68 points a game, and their possessions this year have been 18.6 seconds long, which is 314th out of 347 teams in the country. So I mean, it's just they're very methodical. They're not they're not always the most fun team to watch from a stylistic standpoint. I mean, they play close games and they play exciting games, but stylistically, it's not necessarily appeasing to the fans' eyes. So, but they're figuring some stuff out. I think these next 4 games, the 2 Sac State games, and then obviously Cat Grizz, are going to be very telling.
When you look at that win that they got over Northern Colorado, and I can't remember the dude that hit the game winner, but I mean they struggled all around shooting the field from the field that day, and I wanted to say it was Northern Colorado's defense, but holy cow! I mean, both teams struggled. And then you see it in Northern Arizona last week. They blow a 17-point second half lead in a 4-point loss. They're losing close games that normally they would have won. And how much of that is based on their youth, because they are very young?
I think that's some of it. I think the other part of it is they just don't have a go-to bucket getter. I think some people would argue with me about that, and that their offense and just the way that they want to do things is working, and it is coming to close games. And there's just been a few stops here and there, and they've had some late game issues in all of those close losses, those 2 Southern Utah losses, and that Northern Colorado loss, and that Northern Arizona loss. It was the same. It was almost the exact same thing that happened in all of those games. Is that they just had a bad scoreless stretch, late in the game, and that was pretty much all she wrote.
Jordy Hansen, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. Flip side, to the other side of the divide, you've got Danny Sprinkle in his second year, 4-0 in the conference, 7-3 overall. And this is a team, Jabril Bello, the player of the week, but this is a team that seems to be on the upswing. And I mean, it's easy to say that when they've won 5 in a row, but they're playing good basketball right now over there in Bozeman.
They are. We'll definitely have to see them play a real Big Sky team. I mean, I think their 2 wins, or their 4 wins, I should say, are over Northern Colorado and Portland State, and for all the close games that they had against the Grizz, I mean, those are not very good teams. And I think in Northern Arizona this week, for them is also not a particularly great team. So once after they get through that Northern Arizona stretch, 2 games against Montana, 2 games against Weber, and 2 games against a very good Eastern Washington team, are really going to tell the tale this season for them. But what I gotta say is that Danny Sprinkle's done a heck of a job with that squad. They look like a better than 500 team this year. Which is not something that the Cats have been able to say very often over the past couple decades. But so Danny's got something that's working there. They've just got some. Amanda Damu, has been great. Bella's been great. Borges has been great. They've got guys that are really fitting into their roles. And I think that they've got some shooters and they got some players that can really do a lot of things with the ball. So and that always helps. And their turnover percentage is low, and they get a lot of steals, and they're a pretty fun team to watch right now.
Girls, Lady Grizz have won a couple. The Cats finally lost in the conference for the first time in a year and almost a full year. But that Big Sky women's race is going to be fun to watch too.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Mike Katrina's done a really good job with the Lady Grizz in his first year, and obviously Montana State's been the class of the conference the last couple of years, and they still look pretty solid as well. And I'm excited. I'm excited for those two games. And the Lady Grizz got some shooters in there too, and that's a pretty fun squad to watch. And they're not afraid of making big comebacks and stuff and going on some big runs, which is always good to watch basketball wise. So there's definitely a lot to look forward to for the Montana State men's and women's teams for sure.
What do you got this weekend?
What do I have this weekend? Bunch of prep stuff. I'm honestly going day by day at this point.
Aren't we all though?
Yeah, I've got some legislative stuff to work on, and then some just a bunch of prep stuff as well. So it'll be a busy weekend. It's been a busy week, so
yeah,
a lot of stuff going on.
Hey, real quick, I do want to get you on to talk about House Bill 112 and 113 or 111 and 112, but I want to do it the right way, and so I haven't broached that subject yet, but I do want to talk about it with you soon.
Yeah, no, we'll figure that out. Have some points that I'm going to want to hit on, and I'm sure things that you'll want to hit on as well. So yeah, no, we'll have to set that up and do that. I think that'd be really good.
I appreciate the time, man. Congratulations on the award. Hopefully they get to have the award ceremony down there in Winston-Salem this year, and you can go. If I highly recommend it. It's a great time. It's a great party, and congratulations again.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, I gotta figure out how to get a vaccine. That's one of the things I gotta do. So if you know anybody that's selling some bootleg COVID vaccine,
just drink some whiskey, man. You'll be fine.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, Jordy. Hey, enjoy the weekend. Stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good, Jason. Thanks again.
Man. That is Jordan Hansen joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Appreciate him waxing poetic, like I said, and joining us on short notice today. We canceled some guests for this week and decided, okay, we'll try, unless we have to, we'll try to stay off the politics. Okay. First and foremost, this is and has always been a sports show, and we talk pop culture and politically as well when it needs bearing. All right. Let's see. Today is January the 20th. It is Inauguration Day. We'll talk about that in a second. National Butter Crunch Day. It is Cheese Lovers Day. It is also Disc Jockey Day. Now, on this date in 1937, first U.S. presidential inauguration held on January 20th. They were previously held on March 4th. 1945, FDR, sworn in for an unprecedented and never to be repeated fourth term as president. 1952, George Mikan, the NBA's first superstar, scored a career-high 61 for the Minneapolis Lakers. 1954 on this date, it was 70 below at Rogers Pass, Montana. Lower 48, all-time record. 1961, JFK, the youngest president, elected United States president, is administered his oath of office today, on this date, 1961. Richard Nixon inaugurated in 1969, and on this date, 1973. Jimmy Carter announced the boycott of the Olympics on this date in 1980 for Moscow. 1980 as well, Super Bowl 14 in Pasadena. Steelers beat the Rams 31-19. 1981, Ronald Reagan inaugurated. And then hours later, U.S. diplomats and citizens held hostage at the embassy in Tehran were released and begin their journey home. 1982, heavy metal musician Ozzy Osbourne bites the head off a bat in Des Moines, Iowa. Should have asked Jordy Hansen about that. He's an Iowa boy. 1984, Johnny Weissmuller passed away. Tarzan, the actor, also 5-time Olympic gold medalist in 1924 and 28. 1985, Super Bowl 19, the only time that Dan Marino appeared in the Super Bowl, and they lost to the 49ers. The Dolphins did, 38-16. 1989, Mario Lemieux becomes just the second NHL history to score 50 goals in less than 50 games. He did it in his 44th. H.W. Bush inaugurated on this date in 1989. And when Reagan left the office of U.S. president, became the first one elected in a 0 year. Remember, he was elected in 1980. But the first president elected in a 0 year since 1840 to leave the office alive. Crazy, right? 1993, Bill Clinton inaugurated. Barack Obama in 2009, 2017, Donald Trump. 1930 on this date, Buzz Aldrin was born. Happy birthday. 1946, David Lynch, actor and director, Twin Peaks most famously. He was born in Missoula, Montana. 1952, Paul Stanley of Kiss was born. 1972, Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador, born in South Carolina. Alan Freed died on this date in 1965. He was a disc jockey that introduced the term rock and roll, and hence Disc Jockey Day today. Audrey Hepburn passed away on this date. Just beautiful. One of the most beautiful women in all of life. Just beautiful. What's the line? That's more than a dress. That's an Audrey Hepburn movie. But she passed away on this date in 1993. So tough loss there. Oops, let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
Well, we thank our guest today, Katie Garcin-Forba, for joining us, the Capital girls coach. Also, Jordan Hansen for joining us as well on short notice. And if you missed anything, as always, you can go to jasonwalkershow.com. Now, coming up tomorrow, we have two people joining us. I can't even remember who they are. I forgot to write them down. We have guests tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Trust me. Anyway. Friday, Kent Paulson, the commissioner of the Big Sky, Greg Gianforte, governor of Montana, set to join us, and as well actor Alex Panovich, sorry, not Alexis. He's huge. So we'll talk to him Friday as well. But tomorrow, we'll talk some Frontier basketball. I know that's what we'll do. And let's see here. What else we got coming up? Just go to jasonwalkershow.com. It is, like I said, National DJ Day today. And big shout out to all my friends in the DJ industry, radio DJ industry. It's I love it. I miss it at times, but I love what I do. But it was so much fun to be a disc jockey back in the day and introduce records and, well, CDs. I never got to experience the records, but fun stuff in DJ life, and had some great times in the radio industry back in the 90s especially. And it's always fun to sit there and reminisce. They call it hitting the post when the DJ talks up the ramp of a song. And you still try to do it. You listen to music, you still try to do it. It's fun. Let's see. I think that's where we're headed.
Disney Plus.
Oh,
Hulu,
what
and
is
ESPN.
that? Wrong button. That happens a lot, right? Here on the show. All right, let's do this. Ready? Oh, yeah. Breaking it back to the slow days. Little Mark Cully now. Anyway, have yourself a great Wednesday. We'll do it again tomorrow. Go to jasonwalkershow.com. Email us anytime, Jason at jasonwalkershow.com. Tweet us, Facebook us, call in, text, whatever you want to do. We'll do it again tomorrow at 4. Be safe. Be smart. Take care of each other. See you tomorrow, Jason Walker Show.
Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.